We are Greg and Leah, the host of Evolve, the #1 podcast about relationships, and not just the tender or toxic romantic ones, but all kinds of relationships with many people, places, and paths.
And we aren't here because we know or understand it all, simply because we are working to evolve and asking others to join the evolution.
So join us in this next episode of Evolve!
Okay, so we want to start that over again? Welcome to another episode of Evolve, where Greg is struggling with evolving. Because this episode we would call it maybe...
Identifying stupidity?
No. Our relationship with the rules.
The rules.
That's what I would call it, just based off of what you're saying. So, you want to share what happened? What you're struggling with? And I'll share how I can help you. Because he broke.
So, have you ever saw somebody breaking the rule? But I'm not sure if it has. It could be. That could be the source of the
Okay, well, keep talking. You might
problem.
uncover more. I mean...
But, like, just the stupidity in the action. It's like...
What's the word?
The stupidity. What... First off, my curiosity is, what the hell were you thinking? I can... The problem is, I'm so appalled by the stupidity that I could never get to I could never actually rationally ask the person that question.
You'd be
because it would be
explosive reaction.
Any conversation that I would have with that person would be, "You're a fucking idiot." Just nothing more than that. What the fuck are you doing? What mother or father taught you?
So I want to pause right there, actually, while you're
really
saying
getting upset about this.
So, something you just said, what mother or father taught you. When you said, what were you thinking? I saw you as a little kid and someone saying to you, what were you thinking? Do you think this is programmed behavior?
Oh, God, yes, absolutely. Because every behavior, and that is what I'm really coming to realize, that every human behavior is a program. We actually are, and to be quite honest, the programmers have been quite upfront in how they're doing it. I mean, for years we've watched TV, and it's been called the morning programs. And your grandmother said, I have to watch my programming. And now it's different. We're all scanning YouTube and TikTok, and we have influencers, and it's still right in our face. We are influencing you. We are going to influence you, and you have very little. Unless, well, in the past, like you're talking about, we all have been programmed.
Right. Our caregivers programmed us.
We have to come to a place where, first off, we have to unprogram us so that we can reprogram us. But we have to be so guarded on everybody's programming. And
so in this situation that you're feeling like someone broke a rule, either they were ignorant, didn't know the rule, or they didn't care and broke the rule. It upsets you, and it causes you to have a thought, which causes a feeling, which creates more thoughts, which creates more bodily feelings, and they're not positive.
It's funny that you immediately brought it back to my childhood, because that's really what my parents were always. What are you thinking? What are you doing? What are you thinking?
So you are 100% that person now.
Oh, God, yeah.
But do you like that person? You didn't.
Obviously, I don't like that person.
No. I'm not the person who's breaking the rule.
Oh.
Did you like when your parents asked you that question?
Oh, I wanted to get out of my house from the moment I can remember. It's just, I remember even, I was talking about it the other day, that it was always I don't know what you call it. My own theme music sometimes was when it was now's my chance. And I'd sneak down the hall to try to sneak out of the house.
Okay, Crunk.
Yeah.
Emperor's New Groove. Oh my God, he's got his own theme music.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just.
But I mean, if you don't like this program, or do you? I think first evaluating that. The way we evolve is we have to be aware we have a program, then decide if we like it, if it's serving us, if it's beneficial, and if not, what are we going to do about it?
Well, how is it that, and it is obviously, you just hit the nail on the head, is the programming that I have versus the program that you have. You said you could walk by this whole situation and
I wouldn't even. I might not have noticed, and if I did, I would have been like, "Oh, that's weird."
So,
or I don't care.
Even if you were, then that's the thing too. If you were I could never be a police officer. I'd be too.
You'd take everything personal.
Everything.
You broke the rule.
It's true. It's like, why? And that's why am I taking this personal? And you made a good point. It's programmed in me because I'm just reprogramming myself.
You're regurgitating the programming.
Everything that I have had done.
So anytime that your mother or your father said, "What were you thinking?" they were acting just like this with
And I get
upset and like, you
the
idiot.
perspective of my parents thinking I was compared to my mom and dad and my sister. I was one of these things is not like the other. I was zooming around in hyper. My energy was 100 times more energy than they had combined.
Yeah.
And so
I wouldn't disagree there.
my metabolism was off the rails, and so I was a pinball in a very hard machine.
And
Not a lot of rubber.
We said something about this the other day where inconvenience is what irritates you, because inconvenience is what irritated your parents. You're making me have to get up from this chair. You're making me have to do something else. I now don't like you. I now don't like this behavior. I now don't like.
Yeah, that I have.
Well, as a child, that might be the perception you might have taken. Like, what am I doing bad? Why am I bad? Why don't you like me? But I'm saying, just going back to the programming, do you like this about you?
Obviously, what I don't like about this about me, because there is I am not going to deny the absolute rush of the justification.
Which we're going to talk about that in another episode called Cell, that we talk about cells. So
Right.
don't get into it too much here.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, about how we've programmed our actual cells.
What I don't like is all the damage that I cause from the moment I saw the injustice till like right now. You know.
So wait,
in
this situation, you haven't caused any damage yet.
I have brought. That's not totally true. I've walked in the door here, and
Yeah, you
threw
were
up
off.
all energy puke all over the place.
But
Where-
I'm used to you, so I'm just like, hey, clean up your mess.
You're,
Hey, don't puke on me.
no,
Clean up that mess over there.
You love it too because you said, "Should I hit record now?" So,
Well, I mean, you're not the only person in the world who has this. And let me not just make it seem like, I think sometimes episodes seem like they're all, you have problems and I'll fix you. You just said the only reason this situation that you're referring to now doesn't bother me is because I'm not a manager. And I said, even if I was, I wouldn't care. Because I just have my own issues of struggling with leadership and telling people what to do. And like, because my home was we grew up in very different homes. My parents were not doing that. What were you thinking, you stupid idiot? Like, it was the opposite. My dad didn't talk. My mom was overwhelmed and busy and always stressed and either crying or just dealing with her own fires. So I was kind of the wallflower at home. So I didn't have a lot of interaction. So I'm working on myself being somebody who does vocalize more while you're trying to be someone who vocalizes less. Me who stands up and uses the voice properly versus you who is trying to sit down more often. So I mean, it's not, we're both at, then maybe that's why we've worked at different intervals or always in our relationship, because we are two ends of the spectrum. So no, you don't get me riled up by your stuff unless it's affecting, like, unless you are, like you were just going to say, you create a wake of chaos behind you.
right.
And yes, in times past you have, where I'm just like, holy hell, now I gotta figure out how to clean up everyone's feelings or rectify this situation.
You know, the whole thing could be also situational because as I walked around today, I noticed, and that's going back to the core, I am more focused on people's
what they're doing wrong.
What they're doing wrong than I am on and that's horrible because when you do that, then everybody's doing something wrong. But
it's pretty easy to find. Yeah,
it's not easy to, or it is easy. It's not easy to see something right. But if we focus on what's happening, what is happening right, we would start seeing. I would start seeing. I can't speak for others. I would start seeing.
And that's
more
the question here when we're talking about evolving. And again, there's a sequence to how we have to evolve. We don't just evolve because I was telling you the other day how I was reading something that said we're 95% living in our subconscious. It's just our programming, our automatic default responses. 5% is awareness. And then some people not at all. Some people are 100% just going about their lives on their programming.
They've been that's
so the fact that you are here, that we're here trying to evolve and trying to be self-aware, trying to evaluate all these things is step one. If you can't change if you don't know what you have to change. So, okay, so you observe this behavior in yourself and you have to then evaluate, do I want this? And if you say, no, I don't like this about me, what do you want to change? and then getting into how do I change. But what would you change about yourself here?
Well, a couple things in a situation is I can immediately stop focusing on, well, you can't just stop. Just start focusing more on what is going on right. And just asking myself in this situation, what control do I have over this? I mean, I guess I could go bang on the person's
door and be like, hey,
say,
do you know you screwed up and broke the rules?
You need to learn how to park. But, I mean...
Parking has always been a big thing for you. I remember when I used to park, you'd come in from the house and be like, well, you parked parallel in the parking spot. And I mean, like, raging mad.
Well, it goes along with the same thing when we started cutting grass. You're cutting the neighbors' and property lines are like zigzags and like, oh my fucking God. It's like,
but it's a very big deal for you, the lines. I don't know if you got in trouble for coloring out of the lines or what. Like,
why would you color out of the lines?
Oh my God.
I don't understand. And I guess I have
to just enjoy your art piece. But anyways, we're getting very far off track. What in your past you've tried to change just before? Like, I'm just going to be Zen Greg. Remember those?
I tried that this morning.
You tried to be Zen Greg this morning?
In my meditation this morning, I just tried to focus on being a Zen Greg, and I realized that Zen Greg was really stoned most of the time.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, there's an option, but you also have to live your life and be functionable. So
it's true.
But yeah, it's not just a desire. I want to change, and then that's what makes people change. There's a lot of work that goes into changing, especially talking about this for you, because you're talking since you were pretty much probably born, getting the question, what are you doing? What were you thinking? You obey the rules, or what was the thing you always used to say? Like, if you don't do it, you'll wish you had, or something like that. I don't know. But that's a long time. You just turned 59, like a week or two ago. You got a lot of reprogramming to do. It's not just going to happen at the snap of a finger because you say, oh, I'm going to be better. Because this is a default.
Well, you got to break the record for one, but if you don't replace the record, if you don't replace the program, you can squash and delete the program, but then there's always that 30-day window where the program can be reestablished again.
It's like in the trash. You can still pull it out. I don't know. I don't know enough about programming, but
I'm just saying that you have to replace the program in your hard drive.
Situation here, what would be breaking the record? What would be the new record? What would that look like for you?
I guess one of the things is start focusing on things that people do right. I mean, I've spent my life focusing on what people do wrong. And
well, because you're constantly being arrested, you're now playing the police.
Yeah.
Since you've gotten old enough to play the police, so to speak, figuratively, you've looked for who else is breaking the rules.
Right.
Because now it switched the dynamic for you, it feels like, is my observation. Instead of being the one who's always getting in trouble, you decided, I'm going to change the power shift here, and I'm going to control who gets in trouble.
Finding people that are worse off than me makes me feel good. And in that moment of feeling good, it's the justification of there's loudness, there's energy, it's been transferred, and it's
all the same things your childhood was. Your mom was loud, a screamer. Your dad was aggressive, just in his body language, the energy he brought to a room. Like, it was just, so you bring all of that to the table, but you didn't like it when it was happening to you. But again, the power shift feels like I now have control. I'm the one with the power, and no one's going to put me in that position. I'm going to put everyone else down and in their position.
And maybe I don't personally, I don't directly go to these people, but like yesterday, or was it yesterday, we were driving and I pulled up and it was like, what the fuck did you do that for?
Yeah.
You were in there was no reason for that. And so...
for them to get in your line of view or line of sight. And I was like, why? You think that he actually thought about you? Like,
well, that's the thing. People are not thinking about anybody else at all. And that's where... why should I bother giving that much thought or energy into what people are going to do, what they're going to do without my consent, or
even with your discipline or your rage, they're still going to do whatever they're going to. You think they're not going to go to another place and do the same thing? Like, you're going to stop them forever from doing breaking rules?
of an object lesson, I guess, the universe taught me a while back, where I was at a gas station working on the landscape, and I noticed this car just wearing on the horn. And I turned around and go, what a fucking idiot. And I thought to myself, how many times have I honked the horn? And though, actually, when I look back at the situation, the guy that was honking the horn was absolutely right. The person was in front of him or something was not
Right,
going.
but the loud person always
the loud
seems
person,
the worst.
everybody
Yeah.
around you hears that screaming person and says, they are the idiot. You may be saying, this person's the idiot, but the quiet one, the one that's made the mistake or made the error, doesn't come out the idiot. It's you. You blaring the horn. And so, one, it stopped me from honking the horn. But
Yeah, you don't honk really anymore. You used to have bad road rage.
right. So I need to bring my road
rage. We had a little
rage.
peek of it yesterday, but
Yeah.
but it's been much better. But yeah, I mean, what you're saying? Okay, I'm going to start looking for the positive things. How are you going to do that? Like,
It's going to be it's got to be drastic, because think about changing your body shape. You can't you got to stop eating.
just wanting to be thin or skinny or
you gotta
fit or
stop
healthy
the
is
eating that you're eating
not just a
currently.
thought.
You got to make a complete lifetime change, and that means there's got to be a commitment. So you do what you know that best fits you to force yourself to exercise, eat right, whatever it is. If you have to join a gym and have an accountability or whatever.
Right. So what are you going to do in this situation? What do you think it requires of you in this situation?
I haven't thought it out, but because this is really fresh. But I would say the same thing. I'm gonna have to change my diet. What am I focusing on? I have to change my exercise. Look the other way. I mean, find something decent. I mean, what did Thumper's mother say?
If you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all.
Well, then say something nice anyway.
That's the extra.
Yeah.
I don't think she said that.
No,
but-
I'm saying that. Say something
Yeah.
nice instead.
Yeah.
If you see, let's just say that. If you see the injustice happening, wow, well, at least they parked their car. I mean,
And it's not an injustice. That's where, like, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. It's not an injustice.
and
It
it's
feels
fun-
an injustice
it's-
to you
do you
somehow.
know, I'm just thinking, and this is a sidebar right now. I'm thinking, it's horrible, this programming I got, because I'm thinking right now, I could go tell this person.
Wait, you're just muffled.
Oh, I'm
your
sorry, I
whole
didn't put my
thing.
hand. I'm thinking horribly, like, I can go tell this person, I can join energies with this other person I know that would just salute and completely praise this action of ours, but we would still do nothing.
It would do
resolved.
nothing but send bad energy to it. You'd just be spreading your
Spreading
irritation
my
and spreading
program.
your negativity. It's
But I gotta
There's no
also, and
productivity in that.
there's another thought too. These people that we have already surrounded ourselves with, that's the thing. I'm gonna have to separate myself, because that person that I'm talking about, they will see the same injustice and they will bring it up to me. So because they think just like me on this situation. So
maybe they were raised like you. That,
and exactly.
You know,
So
focus,
maybe what
someone
can I
focus
do?
on their wrongs
what
all
can
the
I
time.
do to stop put a guard on that, and maybe even help that person in that situation? Or what else could I do? Because I'm gonna have to protect myself, my program. I broke the record today, or I put a crack in it.
I scratched it.
I scratched it.
yeah.
The problem with scratching a record, it just keeps repeating itself.
Yeah. Do you want to be on repeat here?
For those of you that don't know what a record is, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I'm sure you could look it up. But it is a lot to change a programmed behavior. And our relationship to rules, like I said, is very different. I have come from a space, and I was just trying to think, when did it start? That if someone gave a rule, I was immediately like, no. Now people will say, oh, it's because you're Aquarius. Aquarius are just rebellious. They're the
And
odd
how
ones
you
of
and
the
I
thing.
have I guess don't understand how the two of us have kept it together for this long, because you are.
There's obviously enough
I
positives.
walk on the
that-
path, and you're all over the path. Literally.
Speaking of the path, on our hike yesterday, Greg's like, bike, bike, bike! And it just like panicked me. So I was like literally all over the path trying to figure out where to go to be safe. And
And I didn't
Like,
say
it was
bike,
hilarious.
bike, bike. I
Yeah,
said
you did.
bike, bike, bike.
no, you said bike, bike, bike.
Bike.
Like hysterically. So again, and your reason to freak out is something's happening. You need to get out of the way that won't cause me to cause trouble.
Right.
Where I'm just like, but you panicked me in that situation. Like, because I was
I wish
taking
we
a
had
drink.
recorded
Yeah, I looked like our son like reenacted it after, and I probably did pee my pants a little bit. But anyways, it's just that I come from a headspace and a programming of my own, and I'm not sure where it came from, because it wasn't from any of my parents. of just, that's the rule, I'm going the other way. That's the rule, I'm going to break it. So I don't have the same thoughts. And that's why you said, well, this stuff doesn't bother you because you're not a manager. And I said, well, even I have been a manager of a job. And I'm very much like, I don't care. I mean, I'm a horrible manager probably because I didn't take space or use my voice or get upset or like I didn't lead people positively or negatively.
Well, even in this situation that we're talking about, and I am,
Excuse me.
I am the manager of the situation.
Yeah.
There's an approach to take that, and I think the nail on the head really was taking it personally. The cop that delivers the ticket, doesn't take it, or should not, doesn't usually.
If it's a good cop that really understands his authority, he never gets emotionally invested.
Do you know why I'm pulling you over?
And the person in the car is screaming, flailing, upset, and
I
yelling
pulled you over
and crying.
you're going 100 miles over the speed limit.
Here's your ticket.
And you tell him, "Thank you, have a nice day." You know, he walks away. And
oh no, I've seen like videos of people shredding their ticket, and the guy's like, "You do want me to get you for littering now?" And they're like, I mean, it just becomes a whole thing. But I've also had cops who are power hungry, power happy,
true.
and don't they abuse their authority.
But let's just talk about what a good cop should do when they pull you over, and
yes,
as the manager, I could inform them of the infraction
protocols,
and let them know the consequence. And it's still then I'm that's all I have really control over. They
But again, that's going to take a good amount of like mental exercise because you're going to have, how do you not take it personal? Because that's what's happening in every situation. The guy who pulled up a little bit and got in your line of sight the other day and you're in traffic, like how do you not take those personal? That's going to have to be your first hurdle because that's what's happening first is you're reacting because someone did something out of the rules and they should know, I know. So obviously they're not as smart as me and it becomes very self-centered.
And self-righteous and all kinds of things. I mean...
Man, my throat today.
I remember saying, myself, what's more dangerous? The person texting on the phone while he's driving or the person watching and getting pissed off at the person texting?
Well, both.
Because they're both not focusing not focusing on the road.
Right.
And so there's what it is. If I'm so focused on someone fucking around with me, I'm not focused on me or anything that I'm really responsible for.
But you just made it personal again. You said if they're messing with you, nobody's messing with you.
No. Maybe that's not how I meant it. If I'm so focused on whether they are going to mess with me or they're...
If you're so focused on taking it personal
right.
or
If I'm
something?
that's probably a better way to say it. If I'm so focused on taking it personal, which that's all it is I walked around and saw this and I took that personal. I mean... It's just
And I think that'd be worth exploring in your own self and time of just like, why do I take this personal? What about this feels like it's about me? And is it more just a memory that's attached to all these behaviors and programming of like, oh, I would have gotten in trouble for that. And I'm feeling the anxiety of getting in trouble for that. So, nope, I'm going to be in control of this and I'm going to make sure you get in trouble for this. So I don't get in trouble for this.
If I look back at my life, you're correct on that thinking is every time that I went to be the bad, I mean, I was always... a gray area of badness around me that I...
A gray area of badness?
Yeah, everybody has... they're gonna...
I'm a little bit bad.
Buck the system here. I mean, good God, I've smoked pot all my life. That's bucking the system. I've hid out and so there's that area of, I don't give a shit what the rule is there.
Yeah.
Because I disagree with the rule. And there's a thing, too. Who am I to be the king of the rules that I make one rule...
We all do that, though. I mean, I've gotten in trouble from a lot of bosses, emails, sit-downs, lectures of like, this is the rule, you need to follow it. And I'm like, well, I think that's a dumb rule. I mean, I've straight out told people that's just stupid. I'm not doing that. They're like, well, you have to if you work here. And usually I left. No, but
hence at 17, you had
19, I had 20 different jobs. But that was more because I would get bored. But I also saw stupidness. And that's funny that we both see stupidity in different ways too. I see rules as stupid. You see people who don't follow the rules as stupid. So
how are we together? I don't know.
It's a challenge. Life's challenge. But yeah, just evaluating. I don't know what's in my throat today. Evaluating our programming, I think, is very important. If we're living, most people, 95 to 100% of their day and life just in programming.
Unconscious,
like I just do this because this is what I've done. And whether that means like just driving the same route to work every day or actually how I respond and feel things.
Well, it seems
it's
like the
all of
only
that
time that they become conscious is when something wrong goes in their life. But then that happens so often that we become unconscious to that. And it's a constantly...
Yeah, I mean, we just get addicted. I'll say addicted, but we've become addicted to certain patterns, behaviors, and programming.
Your brain,
so,
we can talk about that.
But yeah, that'll be in the next one in the cells. So I don't think that necessarily you have to have all your, like you said, this is all still fresh. But obviously you're not going to have like,
Tune in next week.
Tune in later when Greg, I don't know, either improves or gets worse. So
Zen Greg or Rant Greg? Which do you prefer?
Yeah, rage or Zen. And you know what? Sometimes it's a little bit of in between. I think we have to. You're not going to become me, and I'm not going to become you. I am never, I'll promise you, never going to be someone who cares about the rules as much as you do. And you're never going to be someone who, like me, says, oh, a rule, I want to break it. So it's not about being the opposite of what you are. It's finding a better balance of who you are and what you want, what feels better for you. Because when you come in and your energy's like chaotically volcanic, like it doesn't feel good to you.
No.
But yeah, there is also a piece that you said a second ago. It does feel good.
Oh, the immediate rush.
There is a rush, and that's what you are programming yourself. And that's what we'll talk about in our next episode. So make sure you stay tuned. But in the meantime,
like, subscribe, and please comment.
Yeah, and connect. I mean, we have our YouTube channel you can subscribe to, as well as a Facebook group. We'd love to connect and have more discussions about how we're all choosing to evolve, the difficulties in it, just like Greg sharing today. And in the many episodes past, I've shared of my own struggles of trying to evolve and move forward. But again, it's about being aware first that this is even an unhealthy, unserving behavior or pattern or program in your life. So, all right, so tune in next time. Until then,
be evolving,
have a great
people.
week. Be evolving.